Hello, let us look at this simple trick for factoring quadratic equation. The question here says that we should solve x squared minus 11x plus 28 is equal to 0. If you check this question, you see that the coefficient of x squared here is 1. So this is 1x squared. So with this 1x squared, it shows that what we just need to do to solve this problem is to look for two numbers such that when you multiply them, it will give you positive 28. And when you add them, it will give you minus 11. That is negative 11. Now, the problem that most students face in problems like this is how to get those two factors. So a simple way of doing that is to rule a line like this. And then this 28, you put it here. And then you start breaking 28 into prime factors. So what's the first smallest number that 28 can divide? And that is 2. So 28 divided by 2 will give you 14. Then another number that 14 can divide, the smallest number is 2. So 14 divided by 2, it will give you 7. And then 7 can only divide itself. So we put the 7 here. 7 divided by 7 will give you 1. So now, these are some of the factors. So to get the pairs of factors, what we just need to do, since we are looking for numbers that will multiply to give us 28, so we're going to say, what are we going to multiply 28 by in order to get 28? This will be 28 times 1 to give us 28. 14 times what will give us 28? That is 14 times 2. 7 times what will give us 28? That is 7 times 4. And then this one will still remain 1 times 28, which is already here. We don't need to repeat it. So now, if you check all these factors, these are the factors of 28 that we need to select from. So if you check 28 and 1, if you add 28 and 1, it cannot give you 11. If you check 14 and 2, adding 14 and 2, it cannot give you 11. But it is possible to handle 7 and 4 and give them appropriate signs, and you have 11 as their sum. So for us to add 7 and 4 to get minus 11, this is negative 11. It means we have to assign negative sign to the 7 and 4. So the factors required are minus 7 and minus 4. If you multiply minus 7 by minus 4, it's going to give you positive 28. And if you add them together, it will give you negative 11. So that means we now have our factors. So what you just need to do to factorize this thing now is to take x and open up brackets, put another x here, and then you close the bracket. So you now put in these factors that we have obtained. So we can put minus 7 here, and we'll put minus 4 here. And we'll say it's equal to 0. Don't forget, it is an equation. So the next thing to do now to solve this is to equate each of these brackets to 0 and then solve for x. So the first one here, we're going to take the first one, that is x minus 7 is equal to 0. So that means x will be equal to, this 0 is nothing. So if minus 7 goes to the other side of the equality sign, it becomes positive 7. So we have one of the answer as 7. Then the other one, we have x minus 4 is equal to 0. So we take this other bracket and equate it to 0. So if we take x, we say it's equal to this negative 4. If it goes to the other side, it becomes positive 4. So we now have our two answers. So we can conclude by saying x is equal to 7 or x is equal to 4. So that will be the conclusion here now. So you can see that. So our conclusion will be x is equal to 7 or x is equal to 4. So that is the final solution to the quadratic equation that we just solved now. So this method helps us to get factors easily without any confusion. Let's try out another example and see how this one will be done now. So I'm going to say question 2 here. And it says solve x squared plus 7x minus 60 is equal to 0. So as usual, for us to get the factors, we're going to take 60. That will help us to get the factors. So I'll put my 60 here. 60 can divide 2 as the smallest number it can divide first. So I put my 2 here. So 60 divided by 2 will give me 30. 30 can also divide by 2. 30 divided by 2 will give us 15. Then 15 cannot divide 2, but the smallest number that I can divide there is 3. So 15 divided by 3 will give you 5. And then finally, 5 can only divide 5 to get 1. So that is how to get the factors now. So the next thing for us to do is to check which numbers we multiply each of these values in order to get 60. So 60 can multiply 1 to get 60. 60 times 1 will give us 60. Then 30 can multiply 2 to give us 60 as well. Then what are we going to multiply by 15 to get 60? That will be 4. Then what are we going to multiply by 5 in order to get 60? That will be 12. So with that now, we have our factors, the pairs of factors for 60. So the question now is, which of them can be added together to obtain 7, as usual, which is this number at the middle here. So 60 and 1 cannot give us 7. We cannot add 60 and 1 to get 7. It's not possible. So this one is off. 30 and 2, can we add them to get 7? No, it's not possible. This one is also off. 15 and 4, is there a way we can add 15 and 4 to get 7? No, it is not possible. Then 5 and 12, is it possible to get 7 from 5 and 12? Yes, it is possible. It's just that we need to appropriate the right signs to the right numbers. So for us to get 7 from 5 and 12, one of them has to be a positive value and one has to be a negative value. So it's going to be minus 5 and plus 12. So if we check these two numbers, negative 5 multiplied by positive 12 will give us negative 60. And then negative 5 added to positive 12 will give us positive 7. So the best way to do this now will be to put these values in brackets. For us to put these values in brackets, we're going to say x now, we open a bracket, and then we'll take another x, open the bracket. So what do we do next? We put these values inside the bracket. So this becomes minus 5 in this bracket, and this becomes positive 12 in the bracket. And don't forget, we are solving an equation, so we equate it to 0. So now, in order for us to solve this, we are going to equate each of these brackets to 0. So the first one here says x minus 5 is equal to 0. And then you agree with me there that x in this case will be equal to positive 5. Because when this negative side goes to the other side, it becomes positive 5. The other bracket is x plus 12. We also equate it to 0. So in order to get x here, we're going to take this positive 12 and take it to the other side of the equation. So it becomes negative 12 when it crosses the equality sign. So we now have our two final answers. So we can conclude by saying x is equal to 5 or x is equal to negative 12 minus 12. So these are the answers. So this is how to solve quadratic equation that have 1 as the coefficient of x squared. This is how to solve it easily by factoring. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to this channel so that you can enjoy more easy videos like this. Thank you.